Well, hi everyone, and welcome to the Buffett and Beyond Research Saturday ETF report for April 18th, 2026. And remember, folks, if you want to live on this beach like Jimmy Buffett once did, you've got to learn how to invest even better than Warren Buffett does now. And let us look at the QQQs, folks, and it is just going crazy. Look at this unbelievable move in here. And we can see that it was just flat, just going, trying to break through to the top, and then all of a sudden we had this big decline, which really scared everybody, and then all of a sudden took off, and then we had that big 1,000 point Dow movement up here, and boy, we're having another one of those today, or yesterday. I'm recording this on Friday. So yeah, we're having another huge move today. And here we are. We have this green line, which is the 20-day moving average, moving up over the 200-day moving average. That is a good sign, folks. Boy, the technicians just love this. And we can see our intermediate term indicator has been pointing up for the whole past 2 weeks or so. And wow, we're going to get overbought here pretty soon. But we are definitely at new highs with these QQQs. And let us look at the year to date. And you can see that we're up only 5.8%. Well, that's about what we've been up this past week already. So actually, at the bottom here, we were down about 5.8%, about 5.6%. This is for the year now. We were down about that much on the QQQs, down about 5.6%. Now we're up about 5.8% as I'm recording this. And let us look at the ETFs year to date. And folks, look what has taken the lead over the oil and gas and the energy ETFs, and that is the semiconductor ETF. So we can see that money is now starting to come out, because at one point this was up 40%, the XOP, which is the oil and gas exploration, and energy was higher, not higher than that, but it was also higher than it is now. But right now, all of a sudden, year to date, semiconductors are on top there. And here comes the technology, only up 7%, 7.5%, which is more than the S&P 500. Yeah, let's look at that first. S&P is up 4.15% as I'm recording this. The home builders are up more than the S&P 500, and everybody knows the dumps that the home builders have been in. And the NASDAQ is up 5.78% as I'm recording this. You can see from page to page, these are changing because the market is moving so fast today. And I'm recording this while the market's open. Now, the utilities were near the top at one point. So you can see that money is coming out of the utilities, and we'll see that in the next slide a little better, out of the utilities, and guess where it's going? Yeah, semiconductors and also technology is starting to move up. And even home construction, poor old home construction, is up 2.66% for the years. But wait till you see our portfolio. And the past week, yeah, there's the semiconductor up there and the technology. Wow, look at that, up 8.4% in this past week alone. And so then now we're looking at home construction up almost 5% this week. It's up a little bit more than the S&P 500. Home builders are up there. Now our portfolio consists of our home builders / construction portfolio consists of home builders and the construction. We put that into one portfolio because some of these stocks just overlap. Some home builders are also considered home construction, and it goes on and on. But anyway, no matter where you look, you'll find all kinds of overlapping, and different sources have different overlaps. So we just put them together and said, okay, we'll show you how much we're up in a few minutes here. And here's the utilities. This is what I was talking about. So money is coming out of utilities. Money is coming out of energy. Money is coming out of the oil and gas. And where is it going? Yeah, it's going into semiconductors, technology. And even into home construction. So they're coming out and they're coming out of these energy and oil and gas, because the straits are supposedly open, at least for the next 5 minutes or so, and therefore the money is coming out of there and it's going into areas like the home construction and home builders because, and of course, semiconductors and technology, but the home construction and home builders are going to where the money has not gone before. So that's where we're seeing the money flow change drastically from year to date to this past 1 week out of these areas and out of utilities too, going into semiconductor, going into the growth stocks. So let's look at our portfolio of these semiconductors, and we are up 20.5%. And the only thing that's holding us back is First Solar. And boy, I was reluctant to put that in the portfolio just because it does rely on some government subsidies or government tax breaks, I should say. And we weren't going to put that in, and we would be up 28% if it wasn't for First Solar. So our portfolio of semiconductors is doing very, very, very nice, with monolithic power up 60% this year. Oh my gosh. And of course, it's in the tech, monolithic powers in the techs also. Our tech sector, technology is up 7.6%. The ETF, our technology portfolio, is up almost double that. Now, some people say, why do you have an XLK in there? Why do you have the ETF itself in your chart? Because in portfolios, I like to see at least one share of, in this case, the XLK. Why? Because then I can look at my other stocks in that part of the portfolio, the top stocks in the XLK, and see, just glance at it. I don't have to do any calculations. I can look at them and say, okay, are they outperforming the one share of the XLK itself? That's why I like to put the individual ETF in with my top stock portfolio, just so when I look at a statement, I can eyeball it and say, hey, yeah, we're doing good. Now, let us look at the home construction. And yeah, remember, housing is up only 5.34% for the year to date, but it's up as much as the S&P 500. It's up a little bit more than the S&P 500. So even though it's been beaten down, it's doing as well as the S&P 500. But what's our home building portfolio doing? Up 16.43%. It's up almost as much as the semiconductors and more than the tech. So the housing stocks that we picked are doing very, very well. And you know, I love to show this 7-year chart of the technology sector, and we just took compounded over the past 7 years. This does not include anything in 2026, and the S&P 500 is up 173% compounded. If you started out with $100 in the beginning of 2019, and you were up 100, you'd be up 173%. If you were in the XLK, just press that button for the XLK ETF, you're up 367%. If you're in our top stocks, you're up 919%. So the top stocks in technology were up 46% last year, so it's going to be hard to beat last year's tech stocks. But if this market keeps going the way it's going, we just might get there again. And the semiconductors, yep, you can see, again, put your money in the S&P, compounded 173%. If you put the money in the semiconductors, you're up 394%, close to the technology 7-year compounded return. And if you put the money in the top stocks in semiconductor, you're up almost 1,000% versus 919% for the technology. So if you sprinkle your growth portfolio with some of these stocks, as many of you do, because you keep writing and telling me you're taking the 30 stock portfolio, you might change it, but you're putting some of the stocks from technology and semiconductor in there, and you're making your own judgment about what you want to take out of the 30 stock portfolio. Some of you have the 30 stock portfolio plus the technology portfolio, plus the semiconductor portfolio. So your own mutual fund, and you're doing much, much better than the market is right now. So, folks, we had a wild, wild week this past week. We had a wild week the week before. So go out. It's the weekend. Forget about the market because it'll be open back here in a couple of days. So you go out, you be with your family, be with your loved ones. Most of all, stay safe, stay well. And, folks, we'll see you back here in a couple of days.